Dit is live vanaf het FHI Industrial Cybersecurity Event, de Industrial Cybersecurity Podcast Special. Joep neemt je samen met andere specialisten mee in de meest actuele thema's en vraagstukken binnen de OT-cyberbeveiliging. Wat mis je nog aan cyberbeveiliging? Wat had je al lang moeten doen en waar moet je beginnen? Dat en meer hoor je hier. Welkom bij de Industrial Cybersecurity Podcast Special.
Welkom bij weer een nieuwe aflevering van de Cybersecurity Podcast Special, live op de beursvloer. Voor mijn volgende gast switchen we over naar het Engels. He's sitting here on the couch. Welcome. You're from SoterICS. Can you give a little bit of introduction about yourself and the company where you're working for?
Sure. So I'm Amine Besson, and I'm the MDR service lead at SoterICS, who is a specialized OTsecurity firm based in Belgium.
For the podcast, we asked our visitors to bring up some topics. And the topics from SoterICS was that Managed SOC for OT is broken. Can you help us forward in that team?
Sure. It's a bold topic, right?
Yeah,
it's broken.
Yeah.
To roll back a couple years when I joined SoterICS, SoterICS was pretty successful being a consultancy and accrued a lot of experience just going out into the OT security market and providing services to customers. When I joined, we sat down and we had the ambition to go to managed services. So we laid down a 3-stage plan in front of us. On one hand side, we want to do end-to-end. So end-to-end managed services, delivering technology, maintaining it, configuring it. So that's fun, but you can only go so far. We want to go further than that, and we call that Vision Vanguard, which is basically an end-to-end portal that also does risk, compliance, and all that. And then there's the third pillar, which is what I lead, which is Vigilance.
Yeah.
And Vigilance is our view of the next generation of managed detection response built for OT. The main thesis is that we can't do managed detection response if we also do IT in the OT space. So there's this idea of IT and OT convergence, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But in reality, what happens, you have some MDR provider, they put some probes in the OT space, and it becomes like a secondary thing, right? They respond to those alerts like they would respond to cloud, email, legacy, whatever. They don't care. It's just some alert sources. And I don't think that's the right way.
No, it is.
If we want to do real OT detection response, we need to start from the ground up and understand what are the risks of a customer in the OT space, which means doing system analysis.
Yeah, it is.
Understanding which systems are at risk, which assets are most critical, and really what does it all mean. And only then can we actually build a service. So that was actually the main thesis. We need to hyper-focus on OT, and OT becomes basically another pillar of the MDR space. So you have IT, you have OT. These are two different services. They can be joined if you'd like, but they must be built differently.
Absolutely.
So that's the starting point. And I've worked in OT for years now, but my background is mostly IT. It's mostly SOC. It's only SOC.
Only SOC. Only SOC IT.
Most people try to get in or out of SOC, and I stayed in.
Good to hear.
Nobody really wants to stay so long. So I went from being an analyst to an engineer to a SOC manager to all kind of roles, basically.
Yeah.
And basically all taste of hell, because the SOC doesn't really work. It's a very hard model to lead because you're dealing with noise and concept like signal to noise ratio, which are very hard to scale.
Absolutely.
At SoterICS, we're a small team. And so I've had the opportunity to kind of throw out this legacy model because we can't do it. We can't hire 20 analysts tomorrow.
No.
And yet we have a lot of quite large prospects and customers who need to have that scaling. And so I was researching for a while the concept of signal processing, which is basically all this autonomous SOC, which is now called AI SOC.
Yeah.
It's making a lot of buzz, but it does point to a certain truth, which is the really interesting part of an MDR service are the outcomes, not so much the triaging in the middle, because for a customer, they don't care.
No.
They just want to know which incident they're going to have to respond to.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
So at SoterICS, we had the opportunity to build something else, and we call that the Resilience and Risk Index.
Okay.
Which is basically a very large data structure we build with a customer. It's essentially a set of lookup tables with multiple dimensions. And we go and we sit down with the customer. We learn all about their environment, their perimeter. We look into that. We define which assets are most critical, which systems must be monitored, which systems must not be monitored. And we basically create weights, risks, right? And those weights are part of our whole processing pipeline to turn all kind of signals we get from a customer onto outcomes. So really what we do now is that we're engineering that system and we're tuning it out. And I think that approach works a lot better than the traditional SOC one because we actually don't so much care about the alerts, they're just signals now. No. We care about everything else, the context.
Absolutely. But is that system that SoterICS is building then something from your own, or do you use secondary software for that? Or how does it work? Because I can imagine that if your team is small and to build a system like that will cost a lot of effort.
100%. So I was against building out our systems from the ground up very early on. You know, there's a lot of things being thrown in a startup. Why don't we do XYZ and then you waste 6 months?
Yeah.
So I've been through that a few times and I said, no, I want to build over commercially available SOAR, but a SOAR which is extremely customizable so that I can do what I want with it.
Absolutely.
And we settled on Tynes. Mm-hmm. So Tynes became our first main partner for Vigilant. We made a whole kind of case study with them. And what we're able to do with that is basically store our data in Tynes and create very, very powerful automation workflows. And when we need AI, and we actually don't need AI in a lot of our pipeline, but in a bit, we can just call it, we can integrate it very, very well. And so we're able to move really quickly with that SOAR, much quicker than others with other technologies. I've worked with 3-4 SOARs in the past, and that was the quickest one we've been able to build in.
It's interesting what you're saying, because what I hear here on the exhibition floor is that AI is something of the new code word in our OT. Yeah, we do everything with AI because. But what you said is that if you have all that information from the customer, I need only a little bit of AI.
Yes. I think there's
Is that because all the AI knowledge is already in that module, or?
Yeah, it's a good one. I think most AI SOC companies now, so all the the products basically, they will fail because they are basically burning their ramp now. They only have 2 years in front of them. If you don't understand that it doesn't matter to throw an agent at an alert, what matters is context.
Yeah.
And in IT, they don't have that context, so they basically build agents to hunt for that context and bring into the alert. We're doing the opposite. We're saying, no, we're building a system which works with context from the start.
Yeah.
Because we're building that knowledge with the customer so that when we bring in an agent, it's really just to format the incident or to bring meaning to it. But it's working with all the context we've built in a pipeline, which is traditional analytics for the most part. So we're basically making AI SOC work a lot better because we focus on the context part, not the agenting part and just throwing it at every integration possible. We're not doing that.
No, and I think what you guys are doing, getting all this information in front instead of try to let it happening with AI is also really powerful, because no OT environment is the same.
Yes.
Where you see that standardization in IT is really common. The workspace in IT looks, I think, in 90% of the companies the same. So you can standardize your SOC based on these things. But if you go to OT environment, every OT environment is different.
It's different, and not only that, it's actually terrible because it's both static. Not a lot of things are going to change, but it's also weird. It has a lot of weird stuff in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can baseline, but then you will always discover new things. So a big part of building out our approach was, how do we keep it evolving? So that if a customer goes back to us and say, that incident is stupid, that system does not matter, or that's a normal communication, we need to be able to integrate that feedback really quickly.
Yeah.
So we have something that continuously improve and adapts to a customer, which, as you said, their environment is very different from one to the other.
Yeah. I mean, I think we can talk like hours about this, but we're already but we're already running out of time. So we need to finish. So thanks for being here today in the podcast, and enjoy your time here, and speak to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the conversation.